I want to talk about an attack on higher education here in the United States. It is something not given the kind of attention it ought to. Let's begin with the basic facts. Adjusted for inflation, the United States as a whole spent $5.7 billion less on public higher education in 2016 than it did in 2008. Over the exact same period of time, an additional 800,000 students entered higher education in the United States. So we have almost 1 million more students and almost $6 billion less spent on it. Let me remind you that a basic rule explained to almost all students in this country is that the United States' future as an economic society will depend more than ever on its position in the world economy, how well it does things, how well it produces goods and services, and so on. And one of the major determinants of how well we perform economically is the quantity and the quality of the students going to colleges and universities, which is true in every country. Where other countries are supporting, encouraging, expanding higher education, we are making it more costly for people, and we're spending less money on the quality. Let me give you an example just from one state so you get an idea. Arizona. Arizona has cut spending for higher education, public higher education, by 54% since 2008. The state now spends $3,500 less per year on every student than it did 8 years ago. That's a collapse of the investment in the education of the young people of Arizona. And Arizona is not unique. It's a little worse than most of the other states, but it's not unique. Why is this happening? What's the rationale for all of this? Well, before I tell you, I'm going to read you a recent statements made by Donald Trump Jr., the son of the current president. He was paid $100,000. That was his fee for giving this speech about college campuses in America. I am now going to quote from Donald Trump Jr.'s speech. Here we go. Hate speech is anything that says America is a good country, that our founders were great people, that we need borders. Hate speech is anything faithful to the moral teachings of the Bible. Many universities in America offer Americans a raw deal. We'll take $200,000 of your money. In exchange, we'll train your children to hate our country. We'll make them unemployable by teaching them courses in zombie studies, underwater basket weaving, and my personal favorite, tree climbing. End of quote. What's this about? Republicans have figured out that university and college students and people who have attended colleges and universities tend to be more often Democratic and or liberal than they are conservative and or Republican. It isn't much more complicated than that. Since these kinds of political, ideological considerations are now established in state legislatures where the Republican majorities control the bulk of states, you see the result. Defund the colleges and universities. Make them unable to deliver a decent education. And then there'll be less people going to an institution that produces, in the minds of Republicans, liberals and Democrats rather than conservatives and Republicans. The over-the-top idea that colleges train people to hate America. I'm a college teacher, spent my entire life in American colleges and universities, and have never seen anything to corroborate what Mr. Donald Trump Jr. says. But I do understand that we are in a society that is shooting itself in the foot in the way of education to satisfy an ideological agenda of one side of the political spectrum seeking to hold on to enough votes to keep itself in power. That's how empires and societies die, when the thing they do to hold on is the thing that undercuts their ability to hold on.